Hall of Famer Fergie Jenkins is with us. We'll conduct the stretch tonight. Always a pleasure to have you here in a pitcher's duel, 1-1.
That's a good ball game. Hey, anytime you can keep the score at a minimum, it makes it a better ball game.
Jake Arrieta had a stretch that we hadn't seen in a long time. He had back-to-back starts. He was flirting with a no-hitter. The stuff is just off the charts, but it just feels like he's a little more confident now. And I guess it's the horse and the cart, right? It's the confidence leading to success, or vice versa.
Well, I think it's knowing what your ability is all about, especially pitching here in Wrigley Field. I mean, you have to have that confidence to knowing you're going to get the hitters out and you're going to keep the score down.
Ryan Braun 0 for 2 reached on a wild pitch after a strikeout in the first inning.
We'll get into the later stages of the ball game. Each pitch takes on a little more significance. Obviously, Braun, a very dangerous hitter.
And a strike call. Fergie, we've talked to you a lot about your career. I want to ask you about the end of your career. And you pitched in relief at times. When you felt like your stuff wasn't what it was when you were a young pitcher, what sort of adjustments did you have to make? And obviously the experience becomes really important at that point, because you really have to know what you're doing when the stuff lags a little bit, right?
Right. And I had a pretty good pitching coach for many years with the Phillies. I had Cal McClish. And then when I came here in '67, I had Robin Roberts. And then I had Joe Becker. And I mean, those two individuals, maybe even three. Joe Becker was basically a catcher. I think you have to know how to change speeds and locate the ball. And that's a big thing with Wrigley Field. I mean, you can't blow people away every pitch. Right. So changing the speed, location, and make them hit the ball on the ground. I had Sano, third, Kessinger, Becker, Banks. I mean, great infield, great gloves, and I think that's what you have to work on.
1-2 on Ryan Braun. Ball lined into center for a base hit. Gary Pressey gave me a CD recently. It was a radio broadcast from 1978. The Rangers and the Tigers, and JD and I listened to it on the way to the airport one time. And I think it was, you had 4 consecutive rainouts or something crazy where you sat in Detroit all week. I don't know if you remember this. And you actually pitched in relief like the 7th through the 11th innings. Do you remember this was it was a Saturday game?
All right. No, I don't remember.
and Ernie Harwell said, we've got a doubleheader tomorrow, and mentioned that the Rangers had swept like 6 straight doubleheaders, and this was April of '78. He said, going back to August of last year, which made me laugh because you guys played doubleheaders, it seemed like every week back then, and we never see them now.
No,
different scheduling back then, wasn't it?
Doubleheader Sunday, day off Monday.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the rule of thumb.
Yeah. And relief pitchers, just the usage was completely different. You didn't see the specialization.
No, there was only 5 guys in the bullpen, 4 starters, 5 in the bullpen, and it was called long relief and short relief.
You threw 249 innings in '78, 259 innings, and 37 starts in 1979. And your arm is still attached.
It still works
after 4,500 innings.
Yeah. I have a little bit of arthritis, but other than that, doesn't stop me from fishing or hunting.
That's great.
To make it back to Cooperstown?
Yes, I did. I went there. Sensational. I mean, 6 beautiful induction speeches. I mean, 3 managers and 3 players, especially 2 pitchers that went 300 games. And then Frank Thomas, 500 home run hitter.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, that's what people come to see, some of the guys that were the greatest in their career. So, and the managers, they were great, and their managerial part of it, but that's what it's all about. I mean, he had great speeches.
Has to be so much fun to go back with that fraternity of play, especially guys from your era that you played with, and then obviously the new guys that have come along since. Is there anybody that you look forward to that you catch up to only once a year, and it's at Cooperstown? Well,
Sandy Koufax only shows up once. Whitey Ford doesn't do a lot of appearances anymore, so it's good to see these guys. And Hank Aaron, similar. He doesn't do many appearances, so it's nice. And Tom Seaver's been sick for a little while. He got bit with a tick, and it'd been activated a little bit with him, and he doesn't do a whole lot of appearances anymore. So, and Smitty, has been on the bad side of bad weather. So, and it's good to see guys. Johnny Bench. I mean, there's so many guys that you rub shoulders with, you played against, and the battle was you and the hitter.
2 strikes on Ramirez. Braun dancing off at first. There he goes. He got a huge jump. Swing and a miss. Safe. Quick tag by Baez, but Braun got in.
That's the other part about Braun. You know, a high average hitter, hits for power, but he can run a little bit. This is really interesting, though. Typically, he's trying to get the big jump on Arrieta. Arrieta holds the ball a beat longer. Typically, when that happens, the base runner will go back to first, but Braun just held his ground and then waited for first move. Arrieta apparently never saw him, because if he did, he would have stepped off.
Yeah, I mean, when you lose, line of sight, it's time to step off and throw to first, because if you don't see him, he's got a pretty good hefty lead.
Go ahead run now at second base. Arrieta had retired 13 in a row between the Reynolds home run and the Braun leadoff single as he faces Scooter Gennett. Here's a weird one for you. You love to hit. You had 13 homers in your career. I'm looking at your career. So you had 2 plate appearances in '74 with Texas. You did not bat again until 1982. It had to be torture.
But I had 1 hit in that appearance. I went 1 for 2.
There you go.
Billy Martin let me play, let me pitch. So I think I pitched 8 innings. I got up twice.
So that was during the DH era?
Yes.
Okay, so explain now. Billy Martin let you hit.
Well, Jim Bibby came up with a sore arm or the flu.
Okay.
And I pitched with 2 days rest and won my 25th game. Beat Minnesota. Something like 2-1 or 3-1, something like that.
And you hit 500 that year.
Yeah, he let me hit.
So you had to lobby him and say, "Hey, Billy, let me hit."
I didn't have to lobby too hard. I said, "Skip, let me hit the last game." He says, "Yeah, okay, we'll let you."
Alcantara goes back. He's at the track, and he can't make the play. Got a glove on it. Braun sent by Cedar. They've got a shot. The throw to the plate is in time. They got him.